Well, hi everyone. My name is Nancy McKinney. I'm the CEO for Marin Humane. And this is a first for us. This is our first attempt to do an update to the community about what's going on at Marin Humane and give you some news and meet some of our staff along the way. And of course, first thing first, we're working from home for the most part. All our animals are safe. Many of them have been sent to wonderful foster homes. All our volunteers stepped up to the plate when we needed fosters. They also came in and adopted the weekend before the shelter in place. So we're down to a few animals that are well cared for in safe, good condition with our core staff. So we're down to very core, limited staff working on campus each day. And we're making sure that everybody's needs are taken care of from staff and the animals. The only thing different is that we don't have volunteers on campus, which is very, very odd to not have volunteers around. And this is one of my cats, Fiona, who's decided to check in and see what's going on. So she's going to pass through. Thank you, Fiona. And let's see what else. I wanted to tell you that besides going to core staff on campus, we have shut the campus down to the public for the safety of the public. We also continue to provide animal services on the emergency calls only. So that would be any calls for any sick, injured animals running at large. We still have an animal services officer 24/7 on duty to answer any calls that the community has for us. We also are answering phones and emails and texts. And so if you want to send us any questions, even our behavior department is available to talk to folks if they are home with their animal and want some tips on how to work with them on some behavior training, some behavior information that you might want to have while you're spending time with your companion animals. And then we also have our humane education department that has put some really fun things you can do with your children at home that are animal related activities. And on Facebook, Julia, our humane educator, is doing a reading program. And then last but not least, we're helping the folks in our community who are our clients with our Pet Safety Net or Pet Care Assistance Program, who are wanting to keep their pet and are needing some help with pet food or other support. We still are helping our clients there. So if you know somebody who is struggling with trying to afford pet food right now, they can call or email Marin Humane and we can figure out a way to get pet food to the companion animals. So that's a little bit of the update. We're doing as well as can be expected. And I think the main thing we want to also share is obviously we aren't doing adoptions right now, and because we just want to keep the public at home as much as possible and keep our staff safe as well. But we're optimistic when we're open and back ready for business. If those foster parents haven't adopted the animal that they've been fostering, we will definitely note that on our website, and you can always check for our website for the latest information. But right now, I'd really like to turn it over to Dr. Evans, who is our Director of Veterinary Services at Marin Humane. And she's going to share with you a little bit of the updates on our operations that we've had to suspend because of the pandemic and maybe some of the reasons why. So Belinda, what's new?
Hi, Nancy. We are all doing well, but trying to follow the shelter in place just as everybody else is. And one of the big changes for us in the clinic is that we have suspended our spay-neuter clinic for now. This is not considered an essential service. And so we, for various reasons, are wanting to discontinue that for now. And some of the reasons that this is being asked of all the shelters in the country, as well as veterinarians in general, is that we want to, number one, not be bringing staff together to do surgery because we are in close quarters when we do that. There's no real way to do that without having people too close together for comfort. And we also, and because we don't want to put them at risk, of course, and then they put their families at risk, and we don't want to put the community at risk by asking people to do something that is really not an essential thing at this time. And also we want to do our part in trying to preserve any of the protective equipment that human hospitals may need, or that veterinarians may need for actual emergency type surgeries and things that they're doing that have to be done. So we don't want to use up this equipment that's becoming more and more scarce, harder to find. We don't really want to be part of using that up when we really don't need to at this point. And so that's kind of the big change for us. And also, as you mentioned, we have so many of our animals that had been in the shelter now in great foster homes. So it's sort of changed our dynamic in the clinic. We're not necessarily seeing animals on a daily basis, but we have people who are taking care of them, letting us know, checking in with us, and we're doing phone, text, email to let us know how those animals are doing. So we're continuing to provide the medical care that the foster animals need, and the animals, the few animals left in the shelter, of course, are also getting care as well. We do have staff on site who are taking care of them every day. So I just want to reassure everybody that we are continuing to provide medical care for the animals that need it. We are going to be going back to spay neuter as soon as we can do it, as soon as we get the okay that it's okay to proceed with that type of surgery, what is considered non-essential at this point. Even though it's hard for us not to spay neuter. This is part of our core tenet at the shelter and in all of animal welfare, is the importance of spay neuter. But we also understand that this is not a life altering, life essential type of surgery right now, and we need to preserve things. We need to protect our staff. And so for all those reasons, we really are trying to do the right thing by our community, our staff, and the animals themselves. So so we're plugging along and keeping busy with working all of this from home, and it's a whole new world for us, but it's so far so good.
Thanks, Belinda. And I think you also have been part of a lot of webinars and conversations with other veterinarians around the United States about the whole issue of have animals been transmitting this to people? Is that where they've been getting the COVID-19 virus, or should people be concerned? So any updates or news on that front?
Yeah, we just had a big nationwide webinar that we attended along with several thousand other veterinarians and veterinary staff and shelter staff, that sort of thing. And the latest information coming from all of the national sources are that at this point there does not seem to be any reports of any transmission of COVID from an animal to a human, that all of the it seems to be human to human contact that is the real problem with transferring COVID-19. So from that front, it's good news for the animals in the sense that we don't believe they are part of transferring any of the disease to humans. And studies will continue, but they really are not seeing anything that shows any evidence of animals being able to transfer this virus to humans.
Thanks.
And they're also not they're not seeing that COVID-19 any exposure to COVID-19 seems to be making animals sick either. So
right.
Animals themselves don't seem to, there's been just a couple of cases so far of animals that potentially have either had it on them or within their nasal passages and that sort of thing, and it doesn't seem to cause disease in animals the way it does in humans. So so on that front, it does seem that animals are not susceptible to this virus in the same way that humans are.
Okay, well, that's the latest on just some of the programs and policies and procedures we put into place in responding to this pandemic situation. And we want to encourage everyone to check our website often. We will give you updates on that. That has a lot of information about our phone numbers. And if you are able to make a donation to support us, since we have shut down a lot of our revenue generating programs and services at this time, you can make donations online, as well as look at our wish list through Amazon. for some of the supplies that you can help Marin Humane and the animals more by supporting us through the Amazon wish list that we'll be posting. So thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions or concerns or comments, by all means, let us know, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye. Bye, Belinda.
Bye, Nancy.